Have you ever made a choice and then later, you're lying in bed staring at the ceiling thinking, why the hell did I do that? It felt right at the time, but looking back, it doesn't quite add up. What if I told you that feeling isn't an accident? What if it's by design? There's a whole world of psychological tactics, these subtle, invisible strings that are being pulled on you every single day. From the moment you wake up and check your phone to the last ad you see before you go to sleep. These aren't just simple sales tricks, they're sophisticated, powerful techniques rooted in a deep understanding of human behavior. They're designed to bypass your rational mind and tap directly into your primal instincts, your biases, your insecurities. It's wild when you start to see it. It's like putting on a new pair of glasses and suddenly the matrix code is visible all around you. These aren't just things that happen to other people, the gullible ones. No, this stuff works on everybody, whether you're a PhD or you dropped out of high school. And the people who use these tricks, corporations, politicians, influencers, maybe even people in your own life, they count on you not knowing the game is even being played. They're masters of a kind of mental jujitsu, using your own mind's momentum against you to guide you exactly where they want you to go. But here's the thing. Once you understand the techniques, once you can name them, you take the power back. Alright, let's start with a big one. Social proof. This is one of the most fundamental, ancient human instincts we have. Think about it from an evolutionary perspective, man. If you're a caveman and you see 10 other cavemen running like hell away from a certain bush, what do? You don't walk over to the bush and start investigating, right? You run. You assume they know something you don't. Fast forward to today. You're walking down the street looking for a place to eat. There are two restaurants side by side. One is bustling, full of people laughing, music playing. The other one is completely empty, just a bored-looking waiter staring out the window. Which one do you choose? 99% of people will go to the busy one. Why? Social proof. This is why websites show you testimonials, why they have 50,000 satisfied customers banners, why nightclubs make people wait in a line outside even when it's half empty inside. It's all to create the illusion of a popular, high-value choice. Online reviews, likes, subscriber counts, it's all a digital form of that same ancient signal. Look, other people are running this way, you should too. Next up is a really sneaky one. It's called the foot in the door technique. The principle is simple. If you can get someone to agree to a small, insignificant request, they are vastly more likely to agree to a larger, more substantial request later on. It's like you're building a yes ladder. Here's how it plays out. Imagine a charity worker comes to your door. If they just ask, "Do you believe it's important to help children in need?" Well, who's gonna say no to that? You're not a monster. So you say, "Yes, of course." Boom, first rung. Then they might say, "Great, would you be willing to sign this petition?" It costs you nothing, just a signature. So you say, "Sure, why not?" Second rung, now they've got you. You've just affirmed twice that you're the kind of person who cares about children and takes action to support them. So now when they hit you with the real ask, since you're so clearly a compassionate person, would you consider making a small $20 donation? It becomes incredibly difficult to say no. Saying no would create cognitive dissonance. It would contradict the self-image you just built. Man, this next one, the scarcity principle, this taps right into our primal fear of loss. The psychological theory is that people place a higher value on things they believe are scarce, and a lower value on things that are abundant. You see this constantly in marketing. Limited time offer, sale ends Sunday, only 2 left in stock, exclusive one-time deal. These messages aren't just giving you information, they're designed to create a sense of urgency. They're manufacturing scarcity, they're putting a ticking clock in your head that short-circuits your decision-making process. Think about concert tickets for a popular band or the release of a new sneaker. The reason they sell out in minutes is a combination of genuine demand and manufactured scarcity. People will stay up all night hitting refresh on their browser, desperate to get one. The item itself becomes secondary to the thrill of the hunt. Reciprocity. This is a deep one. It's one of the fundamental pillars of human society. The idea is that if someone does something for you, you feel a deep-seated, often unconscious obligation to do something for them in return. It's the social glue that allows for cooperation, for trust, for building communities. The classic example is the free sample. You're walking through Costco and someone offers you a tiny cup with a piece of sausage in it. You're not obligated to buy the package of sausages. Nobody says you have to. But when you take that free sample, a tiny psychological switch is flipped. You've received a gift. Now, when that person smiles and asks, "They're good, right? We have them on sale today," you feel a subtle pressure to buy them. You feel a little indebted. This plays out in so many ways. It's the car salesman who offers you a coffee or a bottle of water the second you walk in. It's the company that sends you a free pen with their logo on it in the mail. These aren't just acts of kindness, they're strategic moves. They are creating a social debt that you will feel compelled to repay. Okay, this one is fascinating because it shows how easily we can outsource our thinking. It's called authority bias. We're conditioned from birth to respect and obey authority figures. Parents, teachers, police officers, doctors. It's a useful heuristic for the most part. It keeps society functioning. The most famous demonstration of this is the Milgram experiment from the 60s. They had a guy in a lab coat, the authority figure, tell regular people to deliver what they thought were increasingly powerful electric shocks to another person in another room. And a shocking number of them kept delivering the pain, all the way to the maximum voltage, simply because the guy in the lab coat told them to. You see this everywhere. Why do actors in commercials for toothpaste or medicine wear lab coats? To trigger your authority bias? Why does a financial guru film his videos in front of a bookshelf full of important-looking books or with a bunch of stock market charts behind him? To project an aura of authority. It's a stage play. The danger here is that it makes us lazy thinkers. We stop evaluating the message and instead just evaluate the messenger. A lab coat doesn't make a dumb idea smart. The framing effect is all about presentation. It shows that the way you present information is often more important than the information itself. The exact same facts, the exact same data, can be framed in different ways to elicit completely different emotional and behavioral responses. The classic example is the ground beef. If a package is labeled 90% fat-free, that sounds great, right? It sounds healthy, positive. But what if the exact same product is labeled 10% fat? Suddenly it sounds much less appealing, but it's the exact same meat. The facts haven't changed, only the frame. Politicians are absolute masters of this. Is it a tax cut for the wealthy, or an incentive for job creators? Is it an investment in public services, or a government spending spree? The words they choose are designed to frame the debate in their favor before it even begins. News media does this too. The headline they write, the photo they choose, it all frames the story and influences your interpretation before you read a single sentence. The last one we're going to talk about today is called anchoring, or the anchoring bias. This is a cognitive bias where we rely way too heavily on the first piece of information we're given when making decisions. That first piece of information becomes an anchor that influences all subsequent judgments. The most common place you see this is with pricing. A store wants to sell a watch for $300. Instead of just putting a price tag that says $300, they put a tag that says original price $600 and then our price $300. What have they done? They've anchored you to the $600 number. Suddenly, $300 feels like a 50% discount. It feels like an amazing deal. If you're buying a house and the realtor first shows you a ridiculously overpriced rundown shack, the next house they show you will seem like a palace and a bargain. The first house was the anchor. In a salary negotiation, the first number put on the table becomes the anchor that the entire rest of the conversation will revolve around. It sets the range of possibilities in everyone's mind. The defense against this is awareness. When you see that first number, you have to consciously identify it as an anchor. Mentally discard it. Ask yourself, ignoring that initial price, what is this item worth to me in a vacuum? So there you have it. Social proof, foot in the door, scarcity, reciprocity, authority, framing, and anchoring. 7 windows into the hidden architecture of influence. And this is just scratching the surface, man. The more you look for these things, the more you'll see them everywhere. In advertising, in politics, in your social media feed, even in your personal relationships. It's a fundamental part of the human operating system, and it's being exploited on a mass scale. But, like I said at the beginning, this isn't about becoming a cynic or a paranoid hermit. Knowledge is power. Understanding these psychological levers doesn't just protect you from being manipulated, it helps you understand people better. When you feel that irrational urge to buy something, that strange sense of obligation, or that uncritical trust in an expert, you can now pause, identify the mechanism at play, and make a conscious choice. You can decide whether to go along with it or to step back and reevaluate. You get to be the driver, not the passenger. If you found this interesting, if it opened your eyes a little bit, then do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We're going to be exploring more of this stuff, going deeper down the rabbit hole to understand the hidden forces that shape our world and our minds. My goal is to arm you with information, to get you to question things and to help you become a more sovereign individual in a world that's constantly trying to tell you what to think. Thanks for hanging out. Stay vigilant, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.